Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to discuss about SS, Night Butterfly, Toranoana / Volume 1 Extra. Now without any further ado, let's continue. The body of a slime is surprisingly comfortable. It was easy to move in and I didn't ever feel tired. And since I did not have an overly particular personality, it was mostly convenient. However, there now arose a very big problem. I had come to a place called the Night Butterfly. Kaijin had brought me here to celebrate and as a thank you. I didn't have any interest really, but Kaijin would not back down, and so I had no choice. Really, I had no interest in it at all. It was Kaijin who forced me. Alright, I will admit it. I was actually very interested. It had been a long time since I last had a drink with pretty girls, and so I entered the place quite happily. But then, no matter how much I drank, I could not get drunk. You could say it was an incredibly serious problem. Kaijin had gone through all the trouble of bringing me here. But now the fun was halved. I tried my hardest to get drunk, but I couldn't even taste the drink. I was dauntless and unyielding in my attempt, but it was no use. However, there was more to enjoy than the drinks. I was a man who was quick to adapt. I would not give up so easily. And so I thought that I would like to enjoy the company of beautiful elf girls that would do justice to the name, Night Butterfly. And here arose yet another problem. I had not had any complaints about my slime body up until now, but now I had nothing but complaints. My next issue was the lack of hands. Here I was with these pretty elf girls, and yet I could not touch them. It was a huge problem indeed. Their lithe, delicate arms wrapped around me as their ample breasts pressed against my body. Wonderful. Was I in heaven? I wanted to shout out loud. That's how amazing the situation was. But tragically, I had no hands. And so there was nothing else that I could do. I thought back on all the animals I had preyed on, and wondered if I couldn't create a hand or tentacle or any other organ to express my feelings. Then I thought of using the unique skill Great Sage. And so I sent out the order. However, how useless. So much for Great Sage. It was completely unreliable when I needed it the most. But then I recalled all the monsters that I had preyed on: snakes, centipedes, spiders, bats, lizards, wolves. Indeed, none of them had that ability. Unfortunately, I would have to give up being able to squeeze any breasts. But I was not the kind of man to give up here. If I couldn't squeeze anything, surely I could still enjoy the sweet-smelling scent of these elf ladies. Being surrounded by breasts while enjoying the smell of heaven. That was the best way for an adult man to live. And so I would go about doing just that. I took in as much air as I could. And here I was able to reach the world of aroma. This was when the skill, super olfaction, which I had received from the fanged wolves, came in handy. And so I continued to smell the beautiful elves as a way of satisfying my desire to know more. Stop. That's not what I meant. I don't want to know those kinds of details. Knowing all of that will decrease the beauty. Was it only a great sage in name? The skill was completely useless. And so explained to the great sage. While I did want to smell the scents and know its wonders, I did not want to know too much. There was just a right amount. There was always a line you shouldn't cross. Things you couldn't know even if you wanted to. Things you couldn't see even if you wanted to. That was the great secret. People lost interest in things if they knew too much. And so you had to go until you almost arrive, but then restrain yourself from going any further. You could say it was the art of only getting a brief glimpse of something. By suppressing your intellectual curiosity, you can gain much more excitement. It's an adult thing that only professionals can manage. I said all of this and more to the great sage. For real? That's the great sage for you. My passion must have got through, as it understood me now. The great sage was wonderful after that. It allowed me to sense things right up until that point when I became desperate for more. To be precise, I was able to understand their emotions by their smell. It was emotions such as joy or anger. But these things were worth 1,000 pieces of gold in this kind of place. I was able to establish myself as a type of king here. And it wasn't just about the smell. My sight as well. Things that you cannot see were recreated as images in my brain. Currently, I was still relying on magic perception to see. It was surprisingly difficult to recreate the eyes alone, and not only was it easier to use magic perception to create the images, but it had a wider view. I was able to use this wide view to see things that people shouldn't. For instance, it would be possible to see under people's skirts. However, that golden triangle was tightly protected by the elf ladies, and I was never able to see anything through the faithfully recreated images. Great Sage was almost frighteningly accurate. And so, my tireless pursuit in this place of the night continued. That is, until some people came to hinder us. Thank you for watching. Please like, share and subscribe for more content.